Welcome back to Cron Mastery, Lesson 9 of 12, where we tackle the gap between what Cron promises and what real machines deliver. Cron has exactly one rule. The job fires only if the machine is on at that precise minute. But laptops sleep, desktops get shut down, and servers reboot. So Anacron steps in as Cron's partner, making sure jobs that should run approximately daily actually do, even after downtime. Here's the roadmap for this lesson. First, we'll crack open, etc., anacrontab, and walk through its 4 fields: period, delay, job ID, and command, and you'll see why that's deliberately simpler than Cron's 5. Then we'll uncover the timestamp trick that makes Anacron tick, a tiny file under var spool Anacron whose mtime decides whether a job is overdue. After that, we'll be honest about the limits. 1-day resolution, no hourly precision, and finally we'll wire Cron and Anacron together the way modern Ubuntu already does. Picture the scenario. Same cron tab, same daily 3 a.m. job, but the laptop's closed Tuesday and Wednesday night. With Cron alone, those 2 runs are simply gone. Cron doesn't keep a guilt list, it just looks at the wall clock and moves on. With Anacron in the mix, Thursday morning's boot triggers a quiet realization. Daily work didn't happen yesterday, so let's run it now. Late? Yes, but done. That's the entire problem this lesson solves. So if Anacron is solving a different problem, it follows that its syntax looks different too. 4 fields instead of Cron's 5, and the first one isn't a minute, it's a period in days. Take this example. 7 says run weekly, 25 is the delay in minutes after Anacron decides the job is due, handy for staggering load at boot. Then a job identifier, which Anacron uses as a file name in var spool Anacron to remember when this job last ran, and finally the command itself. Notice what's missing. No minute, no hour, no day of week. Anacron simply doesn't care about clock precision. And that job identifier I just mentioned? Here's where it earns its keep. Anacron's entire memory lives in var spool Anacron, 1 tiny file per job, and inside each file is a single date string, the last time that job completed. The algorithm is almost embarrassingly simple. Read the timestamp, subtract from today, and if the gap is at least the period in days, the job is due. Wait the delay, run the command, write today's date back. That's it. No daemon state, no database, just dated files on disk. Now here's the elegant part. On any modern Debian or Ubuntu system, this handoff is already wired up for you. Take a look at Cron etc. crontab. The daily and weekly lines both start with test x.usr jes bin anacron, and that little test is the whole trick. If Anacron isn't installed, Cron falls back to running the scripts itself via run parts. But if Anacron is installed, that test succeeds, the Cron line short-circuits, and Anacron quietly takes the wheel, bringing its catch-up logic with it. So with that handoff understood, the obvious question is, when should you actually reach for Anacron? 3 quick filters. Use it when the cadence is daily, weekly, or monthly, the machine isn't guaranteed to be on, and the job is safely rerunnable. Log rotation, backups, cache pruning, that kind of housekeeping. Skip it whenever you need minute-level precision, sub-day frequency, or guaranteed timing. Payment runs, end-of-day batches, anything time zone sensitive. For those, stay with plain Cron, or jump ahead to system timers, job queues like Celery and Sidekick, or a real workflow engine like Airflow or Temporal. It's worth pausing on why Anacron's design actually works, because it rests on 3 quiet assumptions. First, yes, some work is genuinely bound to a clock. A 9 a.m. report at noon is just a late report, and a month-end charge run can't slip into next week. But the second assumption is the big one. Most maintenance work cares about frequency, not precision. Rotate the logs roughly daily, vacuum the database roughly weekly, nobody's checking the wall clock. And third, when a job does get missed, running it late is almost always better than skipping it entirely. Late work beats unfinished work. That's the whole philosophy in one line. With the philosophy settled, here's the page I'd actually print and tape next to your monitor. On the left, the anacrontab syntax. Period in days, delay in minutes, a job identifier, then the command. In the middle, the one-liners you'll reach for daily. -F to force a run, -T to test without executing, -D to keep it in the foreground for debugging. And on the right, the audit trail. The spool directory holds one timestamp file per job, and journalctl tells you what Anacron actually did. Memorize the left column, bookmark the rest. Reference card aside, nothing replaces hands on the keyboard. So here are 3 drills to run on your own machine. First, audit what's already there. Check if Anacron is installed, walk through the spool directory, and work out by hand how many days since each job last ran. Second, simulate a laptop that was shut for a week by backdating a timestamp file and forcing a catch-up. Third, write your own anacrontab entry, Reboot, and watch the Cron to Anacron handoff happen for real. The hints will save you a trip to the man page. Once you've done the drills, you'll start spotting the same 5 traps everywhere. Reaching for Anacron when you actually need hourly precision. Wrong tool, the period field is integer days. Assuming it runs at boot on its own, when really something has to invoke it. Hand editing the spool files instead of just deleting them. Letting a 2-hour job block everything queued behind it. And shipping a container that quietly drops Anacron, so your daily script never fires. Each one fails silently, which is exactly what makes them expensive. And that's lesson 09 in the bag. 4 things worth carrying forward. Anacron thinks in days. Those timestamp files are its entire memory. Cron and Anacron together are the Ubuntu default for a reason, and containers will quietly strip all of it away. Next up, lesson 10. System timers, the modern alternative. Persistent timers, randomized delays, monotonic scheduling, and when it's actually worth migrating off Cron and Anacron entirely. See you there.